They're a good team. Obviously, they're very dynamic. They have a good mix of size and skill, a good back end. So, we expect them to be ready to go.
Any sort of concern seeing Matt leave the skate early?
No. I don't know what happened, but either way, as players, you prepare for the game. We're confident in both our goalies, so it's a non-issue in terms of tonight.
What stood out to you about the way Ilya handled facing his old team?
Yeah, I thought he was great. He went in confidently. I thought he played the puck well. I thought he made some big stops for us, and it's obviously nice for him to beat his old team. And we're happy to have him. So, as his teammates, we're very happy for him.
What stood out about the atmosphere as the Rock had the fans going?
Yeah.
The general home opener.
Yeah, it's always a cool experience coming back and playing your first home game of the season. And I thought the energy in the building was good. The fans were into it, and as players, we all love playing here. Everybody knows that, and a big part of that is our support from the fans, and the home opener is always fun. Thanks, guys.
Obviously, they brought in some guys this summer, and the roster looks improved. But they play us hard whenever we play them. The last couple of years, they've given us good games. They beat us at key moments in the season, and so we know that we're going to get their best coming in here tonight, and we're going to be ready for it.
Any concern seeing Matt leave this game this morning early?
Yeah, I didn't really see what happened. Obviously, it could be absolutely nothing, or it could be something, but I really don't know.
What stands out to you about the way Ilya handled things the other night against his old team, home opener? First game as a Leaf, there's a lot going on there.
Yeah, a lot going on. He played really well, I thought. A couple gets scored on him early in the game. Just settles right in. Got a lot of confidence in himself. No panic whatsoever, and I think that resonated throughout our group. And he gave us a chance to come back in the game and made some big saves down the stretch.
I guess some of his old teammates were chirping him a bit. Did you pick up on that?
I did see some of the Russian guys talking to him a little bit throughout the game, but he seems to handle it well, and he just seems like a super nice guy that gets along with a lot of guys. So I'm not surprised that they're giving him a hard time over there.
Yeah, Sheldon was saying that your line could, in theory, be like a bit of a hybrid, responsible defensive, and still get stuff happen at the other end. Like, if you guys could be at your best at some point, you're like, what do you think you're capable of?
Yeah, I think that's probably pretty accurate, right? Like, just given the deployment of the other three lines, that's kind of what we're going to need to do. Matty and John's lines are both going to produce a lot offensively, and Camper historically has done a really good job soaking up a lot of those D-zone starts. So I think that we can kind of fit somewhere in between, and it's just about going out there and proving it. And we want to chip in offensively, but we also want to be very, very responsible and reliable defensively, and just make it hard on teams and try and play in the ozone as much as possible.
What sort of opponent are you expecting tonight?
Yeah, they made some big moves. We're expecting a fast, very skilled team. You can look at their top six, and they're very skilled, and they're able to score. So we got to expect that on the rush, and not give up much.
Any concern for you seeing Matt leave the skate the way he did this morning?
Yeah, I'm not really sure what happened there, but hoping he's fine and ready to go tonight.
What stood out to you about the way Ilya handled things the other night? His old team, home opener, first game as a Leaf?
Yeah, I thought he played great. I thought he played really well for us. Obviously, emotions were probably pretty high for him. That was his old team and first game of the season. And I thought he looked really solid in the net, and he got the win. So we were all really happy for him.
You like to talk on the ice. Did you notice that some of his old teammates were in his ear?
In Sammy's year, actually, I don't know. I think they kind of let him alone and play his game.
Okay.
I don't know. Actually, I was kind of
doing your own thing.
Yeah, but it didn't seem like anything was fazing him, and he was locked into the game, and he got the win.
What's it like for you when the crowd starts chanting MVP for Austin? Does that lift you as well?
Oh yeah, I think it lifts all of us. It's momentum. The crowd gets into it. It gets loud, and your momentum gets going, and I'm sure Austin appreciates that as well, getting that from the crowd, and that's always pretty cool when they're chanting that.
What did you think of his hit? That led to it, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's an aspect of his game that he doesn't show a lot, but obviously he has it. He's a big body. He's very strong, and he laid a solid hit and forced the turnover there, and so he can bring everything to the game. So.
I don't know anything about Murray, guys, so I know I'm getting asked. I don't know anything about Murray. I know you're going to ask me for sure. I saw your video caping, so I don't know anything about Murray. Hopefully he's okay. Hopefully he's all good, but we'll see obviously later on.
All right, well, what about Ilya? What did you make of how he handled things? A pretty emotional night the other night for him.
Yeah, great. obviously, you always, especially for a goal, you always want to win the first one when you're with a new team. Obviously, it makes it more motivating when it's a team that you played with for a couple of years. So, I think he handled it unreal. I think he made a lot of big saves for us. Was calm and collected throughout that whole game, and it was great to see.
Did you notice at all? I guess he was saying that some of his old teammates were in his ear a bit. Did you notice he was dealing with that?
No, I didn't hear that too often, but I'm sure Washington has a good amount of Russians on there, so I'm sure they're all speaking Russian to each other, but I didn't hear too much of it.
What did you make of the response from the team the other night? And you guys seem to be jumping your line in particular.
Yeah, I think we weren't happy with our game performance in Montreal either, so we wanted to come out, put a better performance ahead of us, and I think we're happy with how we played. Obviously, that's a hard team to play against, especially on a back-to-back. They got a lot of great players over there, and but now the mind's got to shift to Ottawa tonight. A team that's hungry and got a lot to prove, so we got to make sure we come ready for that game as well.
They always seem to play you tough, but now they've even added some more elements. Like, what do you make of this new Ottawa team?
Yeah, they stay patient with us. They try and wait us out, so I think for us, just make sure we stay patient as well. Don't force anything. Make sure we're playing below the goal line. If plays are there to happen, try and make them, but don't force anything in there and give them the offensive chances the other way. So that's how we got to think of this game, and make sure we get around that net as well for second opportunities.
When the crowd starts chanting MVP, obviously directed at Austin, I'm wondering if that impacts you, lifts you as well. How do you process that?
Yeah, it's great. It's good to acknowledge it. I mean, obviously, after that shift, it was pretty sick shift by him with a big hit. Nice plays. So, it's great that the fans give him love for what he deserves.
Well, what about the atmosphere? Like, I know, he posted on Instagram yesterday, the vault was buzzing. Like, what's it like to play when the barn's going like that the other night? Yeah,
it's a lot of fun. It's hard to hear each other on the bench. It's hard to hear each other on the ice. So that means the barn's rocking. That's what you want every night, and this place usually is. So it's a lot of fun to be a part of. We're lucky to be part of it. And, that's what makes this spot even more special to play in.
Hey everyone, obviously Matt Murray had some discomfort in his groin in the morning skate there, so we just decided it made sense to remove him from the skate, get him assessed, and that process is still ongoing. So we're going to get him assessed here this afternoon, I guess, or in the next little bit, and make some determinations on his status for tonight based on that. It's still too early at this point to really give you much in terms of the what-if type scenarios or anything like that. We're just going to focus on getting Matt assessed and take it from there.
Was this something that cropped up after the game on Wednesday?
No, nothing at all. It happened in the skate today. He was 100% fine going into it.
Were you hoping for Ilya to start, or kind of wait and see?
We've got Ilya preparing to start at this point, but like I said, we're going to get Matt assessed. The plan was for Matt to start, and if he's able to do so, and he's cleared to do so, he will. But like I said, we're going to go through that process here.
What do you make? I mean, you spoke about it the other night, but Ilya dealing with the old team and also with the guys, former teammates in his ear. How would you, I guess, assess his preparation for a situation like this, which is another emotional night where he didn't even know he was going to start if he asked to?
Yeah, I think for any player, I think you go into it, especially a goalie. I think anytime you talk to a goalie, they go into every day, even if they're not starting. The real pros go through it as though they are, because you never know whether it's something like an injury situation or if it's a situation where the goalie's struggling and coach makes a change. You have to stay ready, and that goes for anybody. And that's whether it's a player here. Obviously, we don't have any scratches currently, but if you're a player down at the Marlies, when I was with the Marlies, I used to tell our guys to approach every single day like today's the day you're getting called up. Are you ready to be called up? Did you take care of yourself last night in case you got called up? Maybe it's not a game day for the Marlies, but it might be for the Leafs, and all these kind of things. When you're in professional sports, you got to be ready at all times.
I know this might not be front burner for you, but do you have any idea who your backup could be if Murray can't go?
Yeah, like I said, it's too early for me. I know there's a situation with Shalger now with the Marlies yesterday that we don't even know the status of him at this point yet. So yeah, too many balls up in the air right now for me to give you much on that.
So the initial decision, though, was it an easy one to start, Matt, tonight, just with his old team in town?
Yeah, I mean, the old team didn't really factor into me, to be honest. It was more so just sort of sticking with alternating in a rotation at this point. I think that's really more so what it was than anything. It just so happened the way the schedule has fallen here. That's that it's worked out. Funny enough, but nothing more to it other than that.
Sheldon, you spoke about how Ottawa away plays gets tough. Do you see any sort of similar shared tendencies between both teams?
I'm sorry, just the end of your question.
Do you see sort of any shared tendencies between your group
shared
and-
tendencies?
Yeah.
I mean, I look at, first of all, I was just looking at their forward group here today. I think just the way both teams stack up. I mean, you got two lines that can really score. Third and fourth lines they're going to check and play real hard and make it tough on opposition. So I think the way that sets up makes a lot of sense there. I think they've gone through sort of their rebuilding and development stage, and now they're in the hunt to make the playoffs and really believe in the moves that they've made, and clearly they've added increased depth to their added depth to their forward group. So I think there's some similarities there for sure, and I know every time that we play Ottawa, we know we're in a game, and certainly this season with the expectations and the excitement around their team, and with what we have to go with that, I think it's should make for very spirited games.
With Liljegren rejoining practice, is it safe to say he's a little ahead of schedule now?
I don't know if we'd say that. He's moving good and feeling good, but I don't know, anytime there's something internal going on there or he's had a repair done, they're going to be really cautious with that before he gets into any real contact. So he's quite a ways away still.
A lot of the guys spoke about how great the atmosphere was the other night. I'm wondering, when the fans start chanting like MVP, which is directed obviously at Austin, what sort of impact do you think that has on the group as a whole?
I think it gives a boost. I mean, the more engaged the fans are, it's natural for the players to get a boost from that energy. I think, I love that about our fans, the way that they acknowledge our players, they acknowledge moments, good and bad. I mean, they know they're engaged in what's going on in the game, and I really like that, how they get behind the players, they acknowledge key moments. I mean, in that case, it's a big hit from Austin that gets them going, and I think we've got a very intelligent, very passionate fan base and knows what's happening on the ice, and I love that about them, and for moments like that, they're terrific.
You heard that with him, or is it something that comes from the physicality on Austin's part?
Well, that's something I've talked to Austin about, and I think he's taken it upon himself to recognize, especially the more difficult games we play, the more playoff games we play, and you recognize that that's just the reality of the league when it counts the most. It requires more from each player physically, both in handing out contact and dealing with contact. So, I think that Austin's a big, strong guy that can assert himself that way when he needs to, and also can handle contact and play through contact and raise his level through that when it's required. So I think that's just another area that he can really lead our team and give us a boost when that's what the game calls for.
What is the line you want Michael to walk between the edge that he needs to play with and maybe how does he want that?
Bunts he's got one of the more challenging jobs. That's a tough thing to do because you need a guy to play with a ton of passion, ton of competitiveness, and really walk that line. Yet you don't want him to take penalties, and you don't want him to upset the officials, and you don't want him to get distracted from what's really important, especially when you're playing with players like Austin and Mitch. That we don't need things. We don't need things to get outside of what the focus should be, which is for those guys to go out and make a difference in the game. Yet he brings so much fire and passion to his game, or if he doesn't have that, he's not going to be nearly as effective. And it brings a lot to our team. So it is a fine line for us to walk, and it's something for me as a coach I've got to be very mindful of. At times I'm trying to get him to cool down and settle down and stay focused on the things that matter. Yet then when he goes out for his next shift, I want him to be playing at 100 miles an hour and doing the things that are required. So sometimes as a coach, you got to sort of let some things slide. But I think Bunts and I have spent enough time together, over my time with the Leafs here or in the Sioux, that we've got a pretty good yin and yang there.
How would you describe the Wayne Simmons situation? Clearly he's here practicing a little bit, trying to stay sharp.
Yeah, I don't know a lot about it other than the organization's been good about giving Wayne some time to settle into his situation and sort out what his next steps might be and what he might want to do there. And we've been nothing but supportive through that. And I know he's played in the league a really long time and certainly deserves that.